Welcome and welcome back to Little Divine's Cosmic Portal. I'm going to start reading again on the story, and hope you guys have enjoyed what you've heard so far. And if you haven't heard it, I hope that you do. Alrighty then, let's get to it. Erin also thought about all the times they would fight for and over everything. The last bowl of cereal, Kool-Aid, anything honestly. And that's, between Erin and Shadow. How Sly would feed them like burnt toast and overcooked oatmeal without any taste. Yeah, the plain Quaker type, you know? In a can. Remember those cardboard cans of oatmeal? I think they still have them, but if they don't, that's what it was all about. Then Sly would say, when Erin and Shadow complained it was nasty, well, that's what they are going to feed you where you're going. Erin didn't know this, but Sly was putting a spell on him and his brother through words of doom and witchcraft. Another time before, Erin's motorcycle came up missing and found out later it was sold and there was still no food in the house. Riding into the backyard to trade out the motorcycle because his monoshock collapsed, was met by Sly standing on the top step outside the back door with a nickel-plated .22 handgun with marble on the handles in a moo like a ninja in a moo. Anyways, had the gun pointed straight at Erin. Erin paused and said, "Mom, it's me. I'm getting another bike and gas, and then I'll get out of here." But before he could finish his sentence, the gun went off. She shot it up into the air. Erin threw himself onto the ground and looked up to see Sly had shot the gun in the air. Sly said, "Get the F out of here and don't call me Mom. You're not my son. I don't care who you are." Then screamed, "Leave, you little MF, mofo." Erin jumped on his other CR-80 and tore out of the backyard and didn't come back home for 3 days. He had a backpack full of like bread, peanut butter, water, stuff like that. Just, essentials you need whenever you go out riding. Another memory flashed in his mind when before Punky went to jail. Erin got arrested for the first time in his life, but not the last time because of this witch and Punky's lies. Not even close. Anyhow, Erin found himself being interrupted doing his homework to his sheriff car, an officer standing at the door in the driveway, and Sly yelling, "Get your ass out here." Erin had no idea what was going on, but was fixing to find out exactly what it was all about. Standing on the front porch was met by Sly and a sheriff's officer. Sly said, "Go ahead and tell him what you did, Erin." Erin had no idea what he could have done at all to bring a cop to the house. He was just doing his homework. So Erin asked the cop, "Why are you here?" Sly snapped, "You know why he's here. You shot my dog with a pellet gun several times." "What?" Erin said. "No, I didn't," he exclaimed. "I don't know what you're talking about." When in reality, Erin knew who shot the dog several times. He knew exactly who to blame this on. The person that did it. Erin said, "I didn't shoot Coco," but wouldn't say who did in fear of getting another beating for no reason. But there was a reason, because if he was, growing up in a house, snitches get stitches. You know what I'm saying? All bad. Anyways, Sly let the officer speak, and he asked Erin, "Did you shoot the dog?" Erin said, "No. Earlier that day there was some boys, which there really was, walking with guns earlier out behind our house on the hill, but I don't think it was them. Sly said, arrest him, he is lying. So the officer put Erin in handcuffs for shooting Coco, when in reality Punky was the one that kept shooting her dog because he didn't like the dog. He said because it kept barking. Not only that, but it was Sly's dog. And he really didn't particularly care for her anymore at this point, but just kind of put up with it for the boys. Or put up with her, rather, and all the dogs. Anyways, Erin couldn't tell on Punky, and he knew it too, resulting in Erin in handcuffs at 12 years old, because Punky was too much of a coward to speak up as he watched Erin get arrested for what Punky did. Erin was so embarrassed and upset and pissed all at the same time, a flood of emotions. As the neighbors watched him get handcuffed and stuffed in the sheriff's car for Punky's cowardly crime, which he wouldn't admit to. Then the sheriff's officer drove Erin to the kids who had the guns house, and Erin was marched up to the front door still in handcuffs because Sly told the cop Erin needed to apologize for blaming what he did on those kids and whoever else because he was the one that was guilty. Erin, with his face red of embarrassment and humiliation, knew he didn't blame the kids. He just said they walked by with guns, which was normal out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere. He just said the kids walked by with guns. Erin asked if they shot his mom's dog. They said no. Why then? Erin was forced to apologize. Oh, right then, Erin was forced to apologize or go to juvenile hall. Upon Sly's request, if he hadn't fessed up to it and apologized for blaming other people, but Erin didn't fess up to it because he didn't do it. After this, the officer paraded Erin around town as a humiliation ritual, feeling and humiliation just washing over Erin. The officer said, I'm going to take you home now and take cuffs off, but if you shoot another animal, I'm taking you downtown. Got it, young man? Erin nodded and said, yes, sir. Punky never admitted he did it either, even though Erin seen him do it. This is when Erin started not trusting cops. It wasn't the first time, but it was, his parents or anyone at all. That's when his trust for people in general started wavering. All because, well, apparently he was finding out firsthand he just couldn't. Like the time Sly got pissed at Erin for not taking her witchy ways anymore, woke up in the morning to get ready for school, unplugged his headphones from the radio on the headboard he made to hold it, and his cassette tapes on the other stuff. Erin turned on the radio and went into the bathroom to wash his face and brush his teeth when Sly came flying out of her room like a banshee strung out on crack with a real 4 or 5 link wide chrome plated metal chain. It was like this Harley Davidson chain, and if you wrapped it up it was like huge. It was just, but it was like, and it was solid metal, like a motorcycle chain all welded up together, like 4 or 5 links wide. Really do some damage. Anyways, and it was a chain belt, that Punky never wore. He just had it to look tough. Anyways, Erin heard "Turn That Devil Music Off." Apparently rock music was of the devil, but rap and hip hop wasn't, to Sly, because that's what she listened to. The same station called KKXX. You guys remember KKXX? If you're around my age, you probably do. If you live down in the valley, or if you're not from here, I'm sure somebody knows something about some KKXX, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Erin scrambled to get away from Sly and that chain belt in her hand. Now, his eyes went wide, and he was wide awake. His heart was pounding out of his chest because he could only imagine the damage that thing could do. There's a gnat monitoring spirit. Anyways, could do for his body, or to his body. Erin yelled back, "How is rock devil music and that rap crap isn't?" as he shut off the radio. Erin only asked this because he honestly wanted to know. Although the only way he knew how to defend himself was talk back. Excuse me. Against the witch. Now, was to be a smartass because she absolutely hated being talked back to, especially by Erin. So I didn't like Erin being a smartass, so she called it, "Stop your dumbass mouth," as she swung the chain belt through the air, barely missing Erin because he leaned forward to get out of the way. He learned to be quick on his feet with the reactions like cat-like reflexes. Anyways, Erin felt the wind of that belt as he just missed him. And Erin lunged at Sly, grabbing her arm and going for the belt to take it away from her, screaming due to the adrenaline pumping through his veins, now in fight mode. Sly struck the first blow, this time for the last time. Erin breathlessly screeched, "If you ever hit me again, you won't ever see me again. And don't think about using that gun on me like you tried to before." In the backyard that day, Sly's eyes grew wide, and Erin won the tug of war over the belt, yanking it out of Sly's hands. Sly went from a look of surprise and shock to a cold, mean glare with teeth gritted, making her look more like a rattlesnake, or more like the rattlesnake she was, as she hissed to Erin at the age of 13, "Get out of my house, you little mofo. You're not my son, this is not your home, and you're no longer welcome here. Get the F out of my effing house now." Sly screamed, not giving Erin any time to grab a coat or anything, being it was wintertime and cold outside. Erin jumped on his bicycle and rode the 8 to 10 miles to the next town where his grandparents lived. Grandpa was at work already because he went to work early as a rig boss in the oil fields normally does, and Grandma was home though and up folded laundry when Erin came through the door, out of breath and crying. Grandma asked Erin, "What happened to you? And where did you come from on that bike? Lord have mercy, you're a mess. Son, come here." And gave Erin a hug and noticed Erin was freezing cold. Asked, "Where is your jacket? You'll get sick out there if you're not careful, silly." Erin started laughing at this, then told his grandma all that had happened that morning. She already knew that Erin had a rough go of it, but didn't know the full extent of it all. Erin's G-Ma said, "Well, you know what, sweet? You're a special boy, and you need a license, so you can drive me around." Then told Erin, "You need a bath and some warm clothes." "Here," she said, "take these," which was Erin's cousin's clothes, being the same size. Erin had 3 cousins, one older than him, one the same age, and one younger. Excuse me. Somebody doesn't want me getting this out. Anyways, and one about the same age as Shadow. Anyhow, this made Erin smile because he thought he had to be much older, but already knew how to drive. His license. Then his grandma said, "If you got a license now, well then you're old enough to go to work too." Then drove Erin to the local grocery store after leaving the DMV and headed straight for Hallmark grocery store. Erin was kind of nervous but happy because this meant he didn't have to worry about that witch of a mom anymore. Sly, he thought at the time. Erin's Gma said, "Come on, I want to introduce you to someone." So Erin and his Gma walked into the store and his grandma asked for the owner of the store. Now the cashier said, "He is in the office. Go in." Walking into the office in the back of the store, Gma introduced Erin to Mr. Hall, the owner of the grocer. Then said, "This boy, who is my grandbaby, needs a job, and I heard and seen in the paper you need a stock boy." Mr. Hall replied, knowing Erin's Gma for quite some time, said, "Well, your grandson, huh? Can he work? I mean, does he have a work permit? And how old are you, son?" Erin replied, 13, sir. "Yes, I work hard," answering the question for his grandma. "I don't have a work permit, though," Erin said, "and didn't know I needed one." Mr. Hall chuckled and said, "A bit young. When will you be 14, Erin?" Erin said, "A couple of months. Where can I get a permit?" Mr. Hall said, "Go down to the high school." You're in high school, right?" "Yes, sir," Erin said. "Good," Mr. Hall replied. "Then it shouldn't be a problem at all. You go on down there to the high school and ask for a work permit. Fill it out, and they will have your grandma sign it. Then you can just bring it back to me, and I'll take a copy of it. Or I'll just take this copy, and I'll see what I can do," as he winked at Erin's grandma. Erin's grandma said, "Well, daylight is burning, son. Let's go do this." She thanked Mr. Hall on their way out. On the drive to the high school to get the permit, Erin was so happy, but so full of anxiousness. A lot was happening, and his grandma had a smile on her face, like, "I'll show that witch a thing or two if it's the last thing I do." Anyways, I'll continue on again next time. for listening. Namaste.